Hello, I'm Julia Keefe. I'm a member of the Nez Perce Tribe and co-founding board member of the One Heart Native Arts and Film Festival. We're honored to present our 5th annual Film and Arts Festival. Over the last 2 weeks, we've celebrated the diversity and vitality of our local and regional contemporary Native artists in film. Tonight, we celebrate music. Before we start the program, I'd like to acknowledge the tribes on whose land we live: the Spokane Tribe, Kootenai Tribe, and Coeur d'Alene Tribe. We acknowledge your sovereignty and thank you for your immense contributions to the community. Now, we bring you a virtual concert showcasing acts from local and regional Native musicians. We want to thank each and every one of you for tuning in or logging on to celebrate our 5th annual One Heart Native Arts and Film Festival. We hope you enjoy the program. Much for tuning in this evening, this Friday night. My name is Julia Keefe, and I would like to bring in our other featured performers for this evening, and I'm going to have them all introduce themselves. We're going to start with Will and James, if you guys could give yourselves an introduction.
Hey, what's going on? We're Wanderers. My name's Williams. My best friend James right here. We're brothers. We'll be going back, so.
Nice. Well, how about you, Shannon?
Oh, okay. Excuse me, guys. My name is Shannon Hale. Doshazi and Hidatsa, Tuskash and Mandan. To all you and everyone that's listening to us, I'm from the Fort Berthold Indian Reservation, 3 affiliated tribes. I'm very honored to be represented here with you guys, and I'm ready to do the show with you guys.
Yeah, and how's it going, everyone? My name's Tony Louie, proud Colville tribal member. I come from Inchland, Washington, and it's an honor to be here with all these other artists. Can't wait for the show to get started. So let's move it forward.
Well, thank you all so much for, first of all, sharing your music with us this evening, but then also being on this call so we can talk about music. And the theme for this week of the festival is spirituality. And we felt at One Heart, we felt that music and spirituality really go hand in hand, especially as Indigenous people. And so I'm really honored to have each of you with us this evening to participate in this discussion. But let's go ahead and jump into our first song. So our first featured artist is Tony Louie, and we are going to listen to his first song selection, which is a really beautiful, beautiful song called Devil in the Bottle.
This next song I'm about to perform was a song I wrote about my dad. It's kind of self-explanatory. It's my own experience of what it's like for a father and a son. Sometimes it's not always pretty, but you know, it's real. So anyway, this one's for him. Daddy drank all his life, left behind 3 kids and a wife. If he could do it all again, he'd damn sure do it twice. Now I ain't mad that he went and died. At least he showed me how to laugh, how to fight. And that life in the fast lane ain't long, but it's a hell of a ride. And he taught me not to judge a man by the hell he's in or a bottle in his hand. Said, son, you never know when it'll be your turn to dance. with the demons within. Lord, I'm fast, but I cannot run the pace. I'm begging for Jesus to turn this whiskey into red. Maybe send an angel to show me a sign. There's a devil in the bottle, Lord, who's working overtime. And I ain't got much time. Years have passed and now I'm grown. Seen hard times and struggles of my own. Thing that I can't fix makes a bottle feel like home. I guess that's how, just like you, when it comes to breaking hearts, I broke a few. Thing that I can't fix, I guess a drink or two will do. And it may be hard, but I have to change before both our stories start and end the same. It's fighting broken hearts with whiskey. It's like trying to fight a fire with gasoline. Lord, I'm fast, but I cannot run away. I'm begging for Jesus to turn this whiskey into red. Maybe send an angel to show me a sign. There's a devil in the bottle, Lord, who's working overtime. And I ain't got much time. Thank you very much. I ain't got much time. Thank you very much.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Tony, for that absolutely beautiful song. I just wanted to give everyone sort of an overview of how the layout of this event tonight is going to be. We're going to play one song from the artist, then we'll have a discussion, and then we'll play the next song, and then we'll move on to the next artist. But I also wanted to point out that for each of our artists, we do have a virtual tip jar. We have their Venmo or PayPal handles that you are more than encouraged to show some love to. But I just wanted to get that out of the way before we launched into our discussion here with Tony Louie and Devil in the Bottle. Tony, I'm such a nerd for like, oh, what was your inspiration? What are your influences? You know, sort of getting into who you are as an artist and what kind of drives your songwriting. So I guess my first question, especially with this particular song, is like, what inspired you to tell this particular story?
Mm.
Oh, did we lose the feed with Tony? Tony, can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yay! Yes, yes, I can hear you.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, I heard the question.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, I would say as far as that song's concerned, um, it was it was kind of a mixture of things, but as far as all of our stories go, being indigenous, most of us coming from indigenous communities, we all face some sort of challenge uh, with alcohol, whether it be with ourselves, with our families, with our parents. And mine just happened to be with my dad. So instead of feeling embarrassed and not kind of expressing what that was like, even though my dad was a great father, he was a great man, like a great role model, he had his own demons. And I felt like it would be doing him an injustice if I didn't put that into a song, what I seen as his son, and not in a way to kind of dishonor my family or anything, but just to kind of express, because I feel like that's something that a lot of people can latch onto and connect with. So that's kind of where the inspiration came from.
Yeah, I think it's one of the uh, sort of scary things about being a songwriter is, how much information do you put into a song, I guess, especially, with songs that are this personal and this vulnerable, like how much
Right.
do you put out there? Who,
Exactly. And how much of yourself do you want to show others? And that's kind
right.
of the one thing I found, like if you try and hide yourself, you don't get the message across, or you don't connect as
Yeah.
well as you could have if you actually spoke from the heart and sang from the heart. So that was kind of one of my first attempts at really kind of exposing some of who I was and some of what I've been through. So yeah, it was awesome. I'm proud of it.
Yeah, as you should be. It's such a wonderful and beautiful, poignant um, song. I really love listening to it.
Yeah, thank you.
So we're going to go ahead and listen to your next tune, which is just another song that really spoke to me as a listener. This is Tony Louis' Drifter Soul.
Enjoy.
For this first set, I'm going to play some of my originals that I wrote. These are songs that hold close to my heart, all come from inspiration around me. This first one's called Drifter Soul. Mama calls me the wind, I'll be gone 3 months and blow back in. Wonder when she'll see me again. Crazy drifting boy would stop running. But if she only knew the pain I felt, the hells I've been through. That's why I can't sit still, 'cause my mind starts running, demons grab the wheel. So I run down this lonely road, where I roam. I can't look back, 'cause back's the past that I'm running from. And maybe it's my fault for letting you go. Maybe it's your fault for loving this drifting soul. I swear this life I live make a dead man grateful and a poor man give. That's why I sing the blues, 'cause the more I run, the more I lose. Still Still, I wouldn't trade a single day. A life of ease just ain't for me. I swear the only way I feel alive if I run these roads till the day I die. So I run down this lonely road, the way I roam. I can't look back, this back's a past that I'm running from. And maybe it's my fault for letting you go. Maybe it's your fault for loving this drifting soul. Yeah, I run down this lonely road, the way I roam. I can't look back, this back's a past that I'm running from. And maybe it's my fault for letting you go. Maybe it's your fault for loving this drifting soul. Thank you very much. Insert applause here. I appreciate you guys for taking time out of your self-isolated lives to get on social media and listen to me yell around into a microphone.
I love that. Insert applause here. That's fantastic. So who are your influences, or who were your influences as a younger musician? Because I have some ideas every time I listen to you. I'm like, oh, you sound like this person, you sound like this person. But, you know, solve this riddle for me, Tony. Who influenced you as a young musician?
I would honestly say, as far as my music taste growing up and the way I perform, would be through my own parents. They played in a band my whole life growing up. So, and then along with my late uncle, Jim Boyd, he was another big influence of mine. And as far as getting my career started, I covered a lot of his songs still to this day. But honestly, my dad kind of had this raspy sound, and my mom had a real beautiful harmonizing voice. So, I mean, you slap the two together, I feel like that's kind of, I meet somewhere in the middle as far as that. So, I was kind of raised by a musical family, and I'm an offspring of all of their skills.
That's so hip, because I, like, the first time I listened to you, I was like, oh my God, Jim Boyd. So, of course, there's a lineage. It's like music is in your blood. That's awesome.
Yeah. Yep, he was my uncle. So
That's so killing. And I see that you're wearing a Jimi Hendrix t-shirt. Are you a fan of Hendrix?
yeah. Oh, oh yeah, I grew up on the classic rock, so I've always found inspiration through the pioneers before me. May not be as good at playing the guitar, but you know, as far as that sound where it ain't pretty, but it somehow hits in a beautiful way. You know what I'm saying? Like, as far as having the rasp in your voice, and just kind of finding your own unique sound. As I'm sure everyone on this panel, it took them some time to find your own voice. I know we spoke to Shannon, last night about he wasn't able to cover songs and find his voice by imitating others. He had to kind of be his own person off the bat. But for me, it was quite the opposite. I could imitate a lot of different people. So as far as finding my own voice, it took a lot of trial and error until finally I just found a sound that felt like me. And
Yeah. I think it's really interesting because you bring up a really good point of, finding your own voice by emulating the greats or those people who, came before you. And Shannon, you come from a background where you really created yourself from the ground up. Um, how did how was music an influence in your life as a young musician, or was it really just a music inside of you that was sort of coming, like yearning to come out?
It was more of the heart, all these feelings and emotions that I never knew I really had. My mom really impressed me to do school assemblies and go be on stage and play in these shows of like Christmas plays and stuff like this. And all of a sudden here I am, and hearing Mr. Tony Louie there, it's like, wow, his voice has really got a soulful, smoky barroom scrapping, ready to go, kind of feeling the voice, so I really enjoy that, and I do thank you for the questions there. Yeah.
So there is, well, it's funny because with all of you fine musicians on this panel, it's like there is this like soulfulness that really comes through, and I think we gathered a really fantastic group of musicians. I'm going to bring in the Wanderers into this question. What was an influence for you? Did you grow up with particular influences, or was music something that just sort of came out of nowhere for you guys?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, no, I always feel like for me, music, I was growing up on music ever since I could remember. I was watching Pink Floyd, The Wall, just over and over again. So a lot of alternative vibes from that era, a lot of 60s types of influences for me. I make like the hip hop, but a lot of times when I listen to music, it's going to be more classic rock or, something a little grungy too. So a lot of different influences from all over the place, but definitely, East Coast style as far
Yeah.
as hip hop. A lot of underachievers and pro era and, influences like that for me in recent, hip hop artists.
Yeah, that kind of same goes for me. I didn't really start making or like listening to different genres until we really started making music. It was kind of just like a one straightforward like hip hop for me. But yeah,
Yeah, I'm so excited for us to showcase your music.
yeah, that kind of same goes for me. I didn't really start making or like listening.
in reverse,
is it-
who would you think who influenced you, Julia?
oh man. Well, I grew up listening to Billie Holiday and doing a lot of jazz primarily. But in terms of songwriting, I was listening to a lot of Buffy Sainte-Marie. My mom had me listening to Buffy Sainte-Marie as a young kid. For blues, I was listening to Bonnie Raitt, sort of the classic folk stuff. I was really into Leonard Cohen and like Bob Dylan. Those were sort of my influences as a songwriter. But I guess I'm sort of the combination of the jazz and those other early influences that created my sound, I guess.
All right, and so now we're going to have Julia Keefe coming up for the next performer. Her first song is going to be A Letter to Officer Lands, which I think is definitely going to fit the social life that we're living in today's time, and kind of really gets that gripping matter of it and the personal effects that it also has. So here is this. Give your attention to her.
Dear Mr. Police Officer, who slammed my head into the pavement, I thought I should tell you that that really hurt and that I would have cooperated had you told me what I done wrong. How did I make you so frustrated? I was walking home from a peaceful protest, but then I was brutally interrogated. I thought you were here to serve and protect me, but how can I feel safe with you around me when you're so quick to turn and pull a gun on me? So please, Mr. Police Officer, before you assault me in my cell, I thought I should tell you to take a yoga class, a class on conflict resolution as well. Hire a psychiatrist to diagnose your problem, medication they'll provide and you'll excel. And maybe that will save us from problems down the road, but I doubt it, your temper's like a bombshell. I don't think I'll ever trust cops again, but what I have learned from CNN, I know that I'll be running into them now and then. So please, Mr. Police Officer, we the public have spoken. Your brutality is reaching an all-time record high, and we're wondering when this habit will be broken.
Hey, thank you. That was a letter to Officer Land.
Can
All
you
right,
repeat
yeah,
that?
Julia.
One?
Yeah. Oh, can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear
Okay,
you.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I got a question. With all the tension building with police and what are some of the obstacles you face on a daily basis?
Um, I kind of talk about it in the song. Is
Yeah,
you know, I we've seen so much brutality and so much violence, and it's led to so much distrust in those people who are supposed to serve and protect the public.
right.
But when the public feels like they are the ones who are being attacked by those people who are meant to serve and protect, how can we trust police officers? And what I face is just on the daily is like, if I see anyone who's sort of dressed in a uniform, I get really tense. I check myself, I monitor myself, and I know that as that I come from a place of privilege as a lighter skinned person of color. But even as a lighter skinned person of color, I'm scared. Like, it's as simple as that. I'm scared of police. And if there is meant to be a discussion or some sort of connection that's going to be made between the public and those who are meant to serve and protect, I mean, there has to be the rebuilding of those bridges that have very much been burned through very little to no fault, I would dare say no fault of the public,
Right.
especially people of color.
Absolutely. I had a question too. Us all being songwriters, I feel like there's always different flows and different processes. When was it, like, was it a tipping point at some time when you decided to make this song, and how was that process? Because sometimes when you're talking about something you're very passionate about, that process can be a really easy, comfortable, creative flow. And then with other certain songs, it's a little bit more tougher, a little bit more, you have to kind of get down, with who you are when you're songwriting. It could take different times. How was it for you on this one
Yeah.
in particular?
So with this particular song, I actually wrote this song quite a few years ago, and I had just started learning how to play guitar. That's why, like, musically, it's very simple. But there was an instance of police brutality on my college campus. And I remember seeing the video. It was the first time I had ever seen an actual video of a cop being ruthless with a person of color who had done nothing wrong. And
Right. Okay.
and the original title of this song was "Don't Shoot Me, Bro," because that's what the student had said to this police officer. And so it was when I saw that video that I was so mad. And it actually was one of those really quick songwriting processes. It was almost like the song wrote itself. I think I wrote it in only like a couple of hours. And I totally know what you mean. Like there are some songs where you're like super passionate about the message and the words that you're trying to say, but it'll take you weeks or months to like get that message just right. But for some reason this one, it just sort of poured out of me so seamlessly. And then when the civil unrest started happening, this summer, that's when I made some tweaks to this song to sort of reflect the times.
Yeah, definitely reoccurring themes going on. So with that, we'll get going on your second song, which I thought it definitely showed the versatility in you as a songwriter and what you're doing. This one's called If You Go. Second song here from Julia Keefe.
If you ever leave me, please leave in the springtime, while the blossoms kiss the sky and the church bells, while the church bells start to chime. Let that be the time. If you ever go, please go on a Sunday. Disappear while the sun is warm and the children, while the children start to play. Let that be the day. But if you leave me gently, leave me sleeping, leave me praying, leave me in a state of grace, trimmed in lace. If you go chase those fallen stars, go to the moon and Mars. You can go far away, but please come back one day. If you find a new dream, the time will be still for. I won't stop you, I won't chain you, I won't tie you, I won't lock the door. If you think there's more, but if you leave, please don't break me, please don't listen to my heart. You'll hear the ocean sad Go chase those falling stars. Go to the moon and Mars. You can go far away, but please come back, 'cause I don't wanna be all fancy free, and I just wanna be just you and me. So if you go chase those falling stars. Go to the moon and Mars. You can go far away, but please come back. Oh, if you go chase those falling stars. Go to the moon and Mars. You can go far away, but please come back one day. You can go far away, but please come back one day.
All right, welcome back. Like I said, definitely shows that versatility that you have between the two songs. I was just wondering, I know we already kind of came up with it, like the inspiration, but I get a lot of Tristan Prettyman vibes from that a little bit. I don't know if you know who that is, but one of my favorite like contemporary female artists. Is there any other contemporary acoustic artists that you maybe listen to these days?
I probably like contemporary acoustic artists that I love. I love Brandi Carlile. I don't know if you guys know Brandi Carlile, but especially with just vocal technique and the way that she sings, I really love really love what she does. But I'm kind of blanking on on other contemporary peeps that I listen to. I'm such a nerd for jazz. I usually just listen to jazz all the time.
Yeah.
And then
Well, yeah, I was
and then I play
saying
folk
you.
music.
Yeah, I was saying you had a nice Frank Sinatra vibe.
Oh, thank you so much. That's a
Yeah,
huge
for sure.
compliment.
And then with that said, with today's times and being in the quarantine and all that, I don't know if you've been creating or doing anything recently. Have you found it a little harder to be motivated for it? Are you somebody who needs to go out and experience things, in the outer world and kind of bring it back in? Or are you somebody who can kind of generate that just, from within? How's it been for you?
Quarantine has actually been really hard for me artistically. Like we all saw our industry and so many other arts industries come to a crashing halt. And suddenly, we were out of a job as musicians, as artists, as creatives. And I think for me, I kind of, just as we all sort of, locked up our doors and battened our hatches and, retreated into quarantine, I sort of retreated into myself a little bit as an artist of just sort of like, oh my gosh, like, and I know, what we do is so much more than just a job. It's so much more than just our profession. But for me, it felt like such a an assault on my
Right.
art form that I was sort of like shell shocked.
Definitely.
And then, you know, all I wanted to do was just like practice. I started practicing piano, like very basic, like scales and like very rudimental things. I sort of really got back to basics and tried to just get better as a musician, almost from
Definitely.
like a scholastic place. Um, but for some reason, the creative juices, I don't know, I suddenly felt a little scared or uninspired or um, just suffering some PTSD from the lockdown to sort of create something. And I know that, and you know, maybe you guys can weigh on this too, if that was something that was similar for you, or if you went in the opposite direction. I know some people who were like at their creative peak, which is fantastic. But for me, I retreated inward and just wanted to get better at piano and get better at guitar and, you know, just get better
Yeah,
in that way.
I feel like as far as, we go, a lot of the stuff too we have is like very spiritual, very conscious. So sometimes in, times like this where you have to be more inward, it's a little bit easier to kind of go about that because you could always just revert back to studies or any teachings you've learned and, pass it on through lyrics is one of our favorite things to do. And with that being on the topic, like Tony, do you have anything to weigh in with that?
As far as, you know, this pandemic has gone, I'm kind of more on the same lines as Julia, where it was, I went the other direction where I kind of felt the lack of motivation musically because to me, I always felt my musical inspirations from being out in the world, you know, with the people, with the
Right.
experiences, and that's what music is to me. It's the theme music to the lives we live. So when life is on pause, it's kind of hard for me to find that motivation to want to write. Like it's been the least creative time for me, and that's already dangerous
Absolutely.
enough because
Yeah.
I struggle with that as it was. So, I mean, but at the same time, it was great for self-reflection and to make those necessary changes as a human being. Like, you know, all music
Right.
aside, like it's been perfect time for all of us to just kind of step back and kind of reset and readjust our values to maybe what matters, you know.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Shannon, how has your quarantine been musically?
A lot of practice. A lot of practice. And working on new stuff too. And some of the old stuff that I wrote, some of the past, the present, is pretty much right. I don't really know much about the future, but yeah, the pandemic has really put a halt on me. For me, it kind of worked out really good because my sister Baldine uh, uh, took the dice and rolled on me with her and James, and she brought me out here to Spokane, and they live out in the mountain. And when I just got here, it just hit. So everything was on lockdown. So here I was in the mountain with no human contact for like, oh, geez, 4 months. 4 months, and but 4 months of sweats, and that really paid off. So, and here I am with you guys today. So, yeah,
Heck
I'm
yeah,
really
man.
happy
Glad
to
to hear.
be here with you guys.
Yeah. I think that all like I really do love what both uh, Will and James and Tony, you guys said about the sort of turning inward and like self-reflection during this time, like you taking these spiritual practices or these, and like music and spirituality, they go so perfectly hand in hand, um, and that it's become a sort of a time of practice. Um, I'm really excited for that moment when the world opens up again, and we're able to take what we've been practicing behind closed doors and really go out into the world and share our practice with people, and to have that energy from people listening
Absolutely.
to you. And
Yeah,
what do you
those
guys?
who work in the dark shine the lightest.
Yeah,
Yep.
So
Facts.
once it opens up, just start shining that light.
yeah. Well, I think this is a really great segue into our next featured group, our featured artist, The Wanderers. I'm really excited to sort of continue this conversation after listening to your guys' beautiful music. This next tune is Potion by The Wanderers.
Enjoy.
Not enough lime in the light, little lane with the Sprite 3 swigs, I'm bent. Just the L for the flight, red eyes in the night, one hit, I'm lit. Smoke it down to a clip, lose around, make it rip, cough big, niggas we get that potion. Full moon, midnight, midlife, get right, psychedelics got me living in the moment. Wicked ways, what is that? It's a wave, an attack, I've been running from the devil all moaning. Break it down, make it stack, flip it around, bring it back, grip a pound, chip a chunk to the post man, go ahead. Both for your front man, both dead, roll up, ghost it, post it, pin drop location most days. Life is so basic, niche way, live where you take it, no risk. Y'all on some fake ish, whole rich, mental perception, heartaches, part of rejection. Life I projected, then I'ma go get it. Light and accepted the words in my written, interpreted by those with the vision. Status of message get tragic or misdirected. Right around disinfecting, had to pop off cause I fit the description. Brown dude tattoos, the reach like Pippin. Can't get enough till I beat the system, that's why. Not enough lime in the light, little lean with the Sprite 3 swigs, I'm bent. Just the L for the flight, red eyes in the night, one hit, I'm lit. Smoke it down to a clip, Uzi round, make a rip, cough dead, niggas we get that potion. Full moon, midnight, midlife, get right, psychedelics, got me living in the moment. Not enough lime in the light, little lean with the Sprite 3 swigs, I'm bent. Just the L for the flight, red eyes in the night, one hit, I'm lit. Smoke it down to a clip, Uzi round, make a rip, cough dead, niggas we get that potion. Full moon, midnight, midlife, get right, psychedelics, got me living in the
paranoid mind. I can feel it when the whole world cry. Can't never let the government fool you. I can see right through them lies. Never will they break this chain. Promise you can find a way out the maze. Everybody wanna make some change, but everybody wanna sit the same. Aiming toward a better route, had to get my mind right. Always thinking better in the midnight. Grab what's beneficial insight. Time is let go if you don't choose right. You don't hear me though when I'm off the smoke. Elevated lifestyle, living in the now every moment. Hold my open, yeah I'm chosen. Floating, token on the finest weed. Finding inner peace, it's the simple thing. Psychedelic brain, look at where you came just to feel the same. Told them I won't change, that's not what it is, just to maintain. At a different speed, blooming out the concrete, we are not the same. Most of the time I don't speak, you don't hear a peep, always listening. Never giving in, that's not what it is or what I'm about. Listen word of mouth, promise we'll be found, all the wonder aren't lost. Pass us both the crowns, now we the gods here to beat the odds.
Let's go, let's go. Not enough lime in the light, little lean with the Sprite 3 swigs, I'm bent. Just the L for the flight, red eyes in the night, one hit, I'm lit. Smoke it down to a clip, Uzi round, make a rip, cough dead, niggas we get that potion. Full moon, midnight, midlife, get right, psychedelics, got me living in the moment. Not enough lime in the light, little lean with the Sprite 3 swigs, I'm bent. Just the L for the flight, red eyes in the night, one hit, I'm lit. Smoke it down to a clip, Uzi round, make a rip, cough dead, niggas we get that potion. Full moon, midnight, midlife, get right, psychedelics, got me living in the
I love it.
I love it.
That was fun. That was fun.
That was so killing, you guys. I love this song so much because it feels like I don't know. It feels like something that I've like listened to like from decades ago. Like it was like some of that hip hop from like my childhood that I'm just sort of like, yeah, like for some reason it has that it's so deeply rooted in that like hip hop culture that it's kind of timeless in that way. So thank you.
I appreciate that.
Way to go, you guys. That was amazing.
Thank you.
So
Got me moving my head.
I know. I was watching all of us sort of like dancing on the monitor. So how did what brought about this song? Did it start? And maybe this is getting too technical. Does it start with lyrics? Does it start with a rap? Does it start with a beat? Does it start with a bass line? Like how did you construct this particular tune?
Well, honestly, and hold up, come in here real quick, fellas, real fast. Show your faces. Come on, Scott, show your faces. They're not gonna get on the mics, but these two right here are brothers. They be making our beats, so get on the grill, get your grill on there.
was good.
You know, so we got them here too with us. These
Thank
guys
you,
produce
guys.
our stuff. They make our beats. So it really just starts with them first. They work together. They work separately. Um, you know, so we get them, get the beats, and then from there we just kind of catch a vibe. With that one in particular, I feel like we made that song during quarantine, you know, during all that. And so it was definitely one of the ones where we just wanted to kind of get a message across spiritually, you know, for people who are maybe just kind of feeling out and they need something to pick them up, you know, something that's more upbeat, contemporary, but still delivering a proper message. Just being
Right.
yourself and being able to express yourself and have fun with it. And that's really kind of what the vibe was supposed to be for that one.
Yeah, that was like, yeah, I really love listening to that tune. And you guys got to create that music video. How was filming the music video?
Yeah, it was you know, it's one of those things where we were kind of running out of time and we didn't exactly have the setup that we probably wanted, but we were just so excited to be a part of this that we were going to make anything happen, and so we used, you know, what we had and just had a good time with it and shared the experience, you know, with James Bacotis, and we appreciate him working on all this too and helping with some of the filming and whatnot because yeah, overall we just wanted to share the messages and be a part of, you know, One Heart and be a part of everybody in this group too. So
Yeah. No, I even the music video, it really carries that lightness and that fun. And I think like the production of it was so well done and so
right.
exciting and fun. It really matched up and coupled beautifully with the song itself. Um, yeah, I really love it. Tony, do you have any questions?
Yeah, actually, quick question. Just kind of coming from a lateral standpoint, dabbling with the hip hop genre myself and uh, writing in that format. I just want to touch with you guys and get your opinions on this. That coming from a indigenous root, what have you faced struggles in writing in formats that everyone can relate to? Because you know how it's been as far as like the roots of being res rappers, where you want to put on for your culture, but you don't want that to be the reason that people mess with you. And I just want to know your level of consciousness with that you, because your guys' writing is very next level. I love listening to you guys' raps. You guys are very
Um,
talented, but I just wonder if you faced any struggles with that, trying to accommodate your audience, I guess.
Yeah, that's a really good question. I feel like what helps us too is how diverse we are. You know,
Right.
James, you know, is African American and he's also has like some Mexican roots too. You
Right.
know, I'm Native. You know, I got Caucasian roots, and just even everybody on the team too. We just have, you know, a lot of diversity. So I feel like
Yeah.
naturally that also kind of gets brought out into it. If you know certain people or groups or whatever isn't really vibing with what I'm saying, they're probably vibing with what James is saying, vice versa. But we also
Yeah.
really, for me, I always speak kind of universally and as a whole. You know, like
Same.
everybody is
Same.
under the same sun, so it doesn't really matter like who
Exactly.
you are. But I'm just gonna, you know, make music that hopefully someone can relate to and either find some inspiration out of it or, you know, catch some type of message.
Right. And that's why I noticed y'all have a real unbiased lens, and I love that about y'all.
Definitely. Thank you.
Yeah. Shannon, you got any questions?
No, I'm just really impressed with their video work and in their rap and everything. You know, it's wow. You know, it's like you said, diverse right there. You got all culture right there, and it's mixing up in the hip hop rap scene. So yeah, 2 thumbs up for you guys, man. I really enjoy that. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks. Appreciate you.
Yeah, I love that, we've had, two acoustic guitar players, prior to your musical set in this virtual concert. And I think it's so nice that uh, it, I feel like sometimes like we can kind of get pigeonholed, um,
Right.
Right.
as musicians. And so like or even, as like indigenous people, like people outside of our communities still have this like, indigenous people are like Hollywood Indians or like like they're from history books. But then to have a group of musicians here on this panel who are contemporary songwriters, contemporary musicians, and to have, you know, an indigenous musician in a hip hop group that is making, you know, music that transcends race and transcends those barriers, that speaks on a universal level. I think that's just, it's so important, and it's one of the things that we want to do here at One Heart, is to amplify, you know, that we are here and we are valid voices in this mainstream art form. So we're actually going to segue into your next number. Your next number. I'm such a theater person. Your next song.
Let's do it.
5, 6, 7, 8. Nerd. All right. So we're going to segue into your next song. This is Chosen by The Wanderers.
Mentally, you're always somewhere else. Instead of giving fullest attention to this, because this is the most valuable moment. Why? Because it's the only one, the present moment. So to live as if the next moment were more significant, more important, is a very unconscious way to live. And the strange thing is you never really ultimately arrive anywhere.
Lately been caught in the moment, seeming harder to focus. Hey, going through the motions, like what is your motive? Trying to reach a new height, yeah, without even smoking. Toning my own vibrations, by the obstacles I'm facing. See the way that life's been changing. Lately feel like I'm floating, with the amount of just one token. And now my mind is open, all the knowledge I done soaked in, holding power like Odin. Big brother told me go, believe you'll never fold it. Take steps that you can cope with, every moment can't be broken. Molded all of this pain, now I feel like I've been chosen. I done walked through all this rain, every day I kept my hope in here to stay until it closes. Shot clock, I'll be right back in the moment. Only I here to own it, body soaring like Jordan. Checking the stats I'm scoring, I'm going off without warning. Turn the tables of torment, just like Morgan I'm free. Forming the life I need, feel the mark of the beast. For my team I will get it, for them we can on feast. Know we can go the distance, been walking on my 2 feet. Heart beating out my chest, sometimes it gets all beat. But I stay in my lane until I'm laid out to rest.
Call my shorty for an alibi, she vouching for the night. Purgatory in the afterlife, like quick to choose a price. Sacrifices in the darker light will give you peace of mind. Going the distance, putting on my time for a piece of the pie. Know my lane and find a target, if I aim then I'ma spark it. Easy game just like a forfeit, run the race, this isn't for the acting foul, I can't afford it. Lay you down like it's extortion. We ain't nothing but some stoners, all at once they can't control us. Make the call on Motorola, break it in half when it's over. Take any chances if open, advancing in every moment. Passages start to open, the more I spoke toward the lotus. Mortified if I told you there's more to life, we the chosen. Glorifying our motives, immortalizing the loners. Silence gonna take over, unify then we conquer. We don't die, we just blossom. Thoughts as deep as the coffin, our brothers got when we lost them. Living dead in this jig, no more pen and pad with the tech. I'm as real as Malcolm in flesh, present day alchemic tip. Like I was bound for it. I did my research, life's a rehearse, then you out for a bit. I cannot revert back to leisure when I'm out for the chips. Won't ever beg for a bitch, she wanna beg for the tip. Then take a trip from Pasadena just to bounce on his hip. And maybe eat on some carnitas and go back to the crib. Far enough from all my demons, ain't no room to exist.
You know what I'm saying? Don't look at me sideways when you see me and I don't say nothing, you know what I mean? Got a lot going on. You heard?
Awesome. Amazing. Thank you guys. Awesome. So that was Chosen by The Wanderers. So what brought out that song for you? What was the inspiration behind that song? Because I mean, the song itself is kind of loaded, you know, chosen.
Right.
I guess what was the inspiration? What was the message that you were that you said that is behind that?
Got you. Just a fair warning, we're having some technical difficulties and we forgot the charger here and we got about 5% left, but we should be good. So if we do cut out, that's why. But as far as lyrics go, songwriting with that on my side, I feel like it was definitely one of the ideas of almost being born in this specific time and feeling the turbulence that we feel, just to be able to transition it into something that's going to be positive, help people that are around me do the same, and just kind of build, from the ground up as far as community goes and who you have around for you. So sometimes I feel like I'm almost tested in going through that myself, always learning and trying to proceed forward with what I do consciously and also just on a day-to-day basis. So as far as like chosen, it's kind of, that's what I think is kind of where we got that idea.
Yeah. What about you, James?
My lyrics behind that, I was just kind of just going how I felt. It wasn't really no specifics to what I was kind of writing. It was just kind of just how I felt in the time. And yeah, I mean, I don't know. It was just, yeah, that was just kind of how I was feeling. And it kind of went together. So
Facts.
That's awesome. Yeah, I guess as collaborators, do you work on your lyrical content, together at the same time, or is it like one person writes, their rap and then another person reads it and then sort of molds it around that, or is it like, how is it that how do you guys collaborate?
yeah, sometimes we are together. We don't even usually do hooks most of the time. We kind of just play off of each other. But I normally kind of like writing by myself because I like to take the most time to get my stuff right. So
Yeah.
Yeah, we I mean it's all over the place sometimes, when I'm working, he lives pretty close and I got longer lunches now, so every now and again I'll just pop over and we'll throw something on and see if we catch a vibe real quick and just kind of in the moment, and every now and again we'll come across, one of the beats we get sent and just send it to each other. It's kind of like, hey, you vibing with this is what I picked up on, and just communicate, back and forth from there. So it's always a process, especially working with, two different producers too. Definitely a lot of communication that has to be put into it.
Yeah. Well, it all like comes together so so seamlessly and really in there's this really beautiful marriage of, the two sets of lyrics, the same, it creates this singular idea. How long is your songwriting process, would you say, typically, or does it fluctuate from like the first
definitely.
idea to like, recording?
Yeah, like you said, it kind of just goes and the song just comes together like within like 2 hours. Like some days we'll get a song done in like 6 hours or so, and then that'll be it. But we had dropped an EP a couple months ago, and we took quite a while on that, which is really good because the production was really good too. So yeah, it fluctuates for sure.
Yeah. I guess so. I kind of want to open that up to our other songwriters. What is your process, I guess, of the idea, sitting down to write the song, and then sitting down to record it? Do you have a set process, or is it something that's just sort of fluid and open and comes out?
I'll go first. I'll let Shannon gather his wits, but I'd say for me, it's definitely a varying process. Obviously, shifting in and out of genres means you shift in and out of ways that you approach it. There's more than one way to skin a cat. Kind of applies to the way you do music. Even hearing you guys express that last night, the way you guys go about things, thinking, and not only does it spark my curiosity, but I'm thinking of my own ways where I typically like to hear a melody and kind of feel the mood. Um, but and what thoughts does that sound make me think? And then I can jump into the writing process. But then oftentimes I'll just, if you look through my notes, like I just have random BS just scattered through random lines, random things I think, and then you don't find that melody till later, and you're like, oh, okay, that applies to, this is what I wrote that for. You know what I mean? So
Hmm.
it's kind of like a formula that can be, reversed and engineered in different ways. Sometimes you find the hook, sometimes you find the intro. I don't even know, man. I wish I could explain the phenomenon of songwriting. I'd probably be more successful.
For sure, huh? But there's
I don't
really
know. What about you,
ultimately no
Shannon?
rules to it.
Facts. There is no rules. That's the beauty of the process, I think, too. It's such a good place to express yourself freely because you don't feel confined by any boxes.
Do you guys?
Very true.
Oh, go ahead, Shannon. Sorry.
Very true what they're saying. It's just it's like comes from the heart for me, and I know it does for the other gentlemen that are on the program with me, also with you, Julia. Hank Williams, a lot of crying music, that was my style. Then you hear some of the Native American drum songs that are composed styles of them. They're doing their war cry or whatever it is.
Right.
Then coming back, then finding out that my great grandfather Charles Hale composed a lot of the songs on our reservation, the Native American church over there, and also with the drum music and things like that. So that really had a lot of play in me. I had to do a lot of research before I really start coming out with my stories, because I want them. Some of them are, I do mess up. We're not perfect. We all feel the same as everybody else does. We're struggling and striving. This kind of a business is really hard for me because I'm new to it out here, and seeing how hard you guys work at it, and James helping, and just like, this is really a struggling business to be in, especially right now with the pandemic going on, and all this really. And in return, it's a blessing also too, because we get, as songwriters, our performers, our comedian actors, our artists, we get to lock down, and now that we're social media, excuse me, we get a wide variety to show ourselves now. I'm just tapping into this stuff, so you guys got some background, and you guys are younger than me. That's the that's the thing. I really look up to the younger generation, that you guys can help me perform more, my style, because you're getting like Julia said, you're getting three people that are playing guitar, and all of a sudden, bam, you get a firecracker, and you get wanderers, like, wow, and they're jumping around, and here I am want to jump around and be a psychedelic cowboy, I want to chill out with these guys, man, and have some fun. That's what music's about, and
Exactly, man.
Julia's song, the last one, man, that's her happiness. We all have our own kind of happiness, and man, I'm really touched by that song right there too. Also and Tony, I could hit on all you guys all day long, because you guys are my new. You guys are a new fan. So I could say, I really enjoy it. So yeah, thank you for this. Thank you for this opportunity to speak. Thank you.
Oh, of course. No, well, I have part of your fandom, Shannon. I love your voice, and I'm so excited to share with everyone your next two songs. Thank you so much for being a part of this. I think we might have lost the Wanderers feed, but they wandered off elsewhere to drop some sick beats. And really,
Wanderer fashion.
I'm
Yeah.
so grateful to the Wanderers.
It's a fitting exit.
Yeah.
they wandered in.
Seriously.
They left the way they entered.
Yeah, they wandered in, wandered out. We'll finish
But
strong.
thank you, Wanderers. We acknowledge you. Thank you so much for your music. we are going to jump into Shannon Two Shields' music. This first song, he gives this beautiful explanation at the beginning of both of these songs, and I hope you enjoy it. This is Mother Earth by Two Shields.
All right, this little story right here is about Mother Earth, and it's a B-side to one of the songs that I wrote called "Toxic." It's dealing how to heal with getting through a relationship breakup. I took a horseback ride and things like this that I seen of her to help me heal my heart of the breakup that I was going through. And Mother Earth is really powerful in her ways. Through storms, through the seasons, through life in general itself. We are caretakers of her. There's no need to leave our mark on her. We need to leave her in a better way. And this song helped me get through a better way of a relationship that was really hard on me. And it's just a little simple song. It helps me get through everything in this life of situations, if it's due to a breakup or whatever it is. This is just my way of healing my heart, I guess. And it's just a simple little, I don't know, poetry, love, unconditional from Mother Earth, because she is our mother. She's the one that we come from. Yeah, if it wasn't for her, I wouldn't be able to do these kind of things that I'm going to do. So this one's called Mother Earth. Mother Earth, her beauty alone could never be as beautiful as you. As I take a horseback ride in your rubber rail, I see trees of all kinds of grain, color of flowers, yes, they caress me. You know, your beautiful blue sky of a face, you know, caked up like hers needs to be. And your lingering perfume of cedar, sweetgrass, and sage, yeah, wipe away this heartache away today. Swirling mountain clouds are riding rhythm of the river that's right beside me. Mother Earth, I just want to say thank you. Mother Earth, yes you are so beautiful. Mother Earth, I just want to say I love you.
So beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing your music with us, Shannon Two Shields. I just want to remind everyone that we do have our virtual tip jars. As you could see in each of the videos, we have our Venmo or PayPal accounts up there. If you like what you hear, please show us some love. If you don't like what you hear, we'll still take your money. But please feel free to show those virtual tip jars some love. We really appreciate you for tuning in. Shannon, I I want to jump into this song, Mother Earth. One of the things that that really struck me was how even in the acoustic nature of this song, how stripped down it was. You have this line that you're playing on the guitar that's just repeated over and over again, and it's set such a beautiful backdrop for your lyrics. And I was wondering if that was a specific choice that you made in terms of like trying to bring the lyrics to the forefront. What was your process in the creation of this song?
It was just a horseback ride that I went through, and going to Mother Earth's beautiful little world of healing. Because we all go through relationships. Most of us go through breakups, and it's like when I got with Mother Earth and the Ozushka that we call horse, and it really helped me get the melody, like going back to what Tony said, and finding that melody. I kept hearing this beat in my head, because it was the opposite beat of what the song I wrote, the A side for this, of this story that I was going through, as a as a broken hearted coyote would be. I put it that way, So it's but the melody, like you said, was that's what I was feeling in my heart. Okay, and that's the only way I know how to put it. Then smelling the open-mindedness that I had on that horseback ride of seeing all the beautiful colors of the trees, the blue sky that she had, Mother Earth, not taking anything away from the ladies, that's I got 5 daughters. Once again, I express this to myself a lot, so I don't where I'm at. It's just that the song was helping me learn how to forgive myself, learning how to forgive the other person, and just getting on with life. And Mother Earth showed me that, hey, there's a lot more things in a broken heart. You need to get through this. And here, let me take you for a horseback ride. So that's what it was about. And when I got back, it only took me like 5 to 10 minutes, and it was there. It's been there ever since. And the thing about me, I don't write anything down. Nor can I read music, or no, nor do I can listen to the radio and catch a tune. Whatever I catch in my heart, then the feelings and the emotions, and all of a sudden the mind takes it. Then it receives out to all my loved ones out there in the spiritual world that I really practice to a lot when I'm alone. So yeah, hopefully I put that in the right sense of what I'm trying to get at. But yeah, that's what it's about, guys.
I love that. Well, it feels so so grounded. It's sometimes like you hear these breakup songs, or getting over your ex songs, and I don't want to just sort of like reduce your song to something like that, but like you hear these songs and they can be very angry, or they could be very chaotic. But that's one of the beautiful things that I like. One of the first things I noticed was that dum 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 dum, like this. It's so just like it sort of pulls you back down to earth. And it's fitting that it is titled, Mother Earth, that it's so much more than like a broken heart song. It just feels so warm and moving forward, and about growth. There aren't enough songs like that, with that sort of subject matter.
For real.
Well, one of my elders said, I always say, "Oh," when somebody gives you that, that recognition, and I really do enjoy that, because that's what I really struggle and strive for, because I always go back to this story. When I first learned how to play that guitar, the three chords that I've learned, was G, the E major, and D. And the guy that showed me this, he's gonna get mad at me or whatever, but his name was Uncle Kelly, and he had Kelly Spotted Bear. He's really had a profound effect on me to do this. And I was like, man, I come from a background. Both my uncles, Hawkshaw Hale, also known as Kenny, Gerald Hale, all my brothers and my cousins, they all play guitar, distant cousins, and piano and all the stuff that, and my mom, my grandmother, Margaret, she played the drums. So it's like, and I get all this, all these beautiful storms, and the end of it, the rainbow comes with the song, and it's like, I really like to sing from the heart that way, because it's like, and thanks to my daughters for giving me that time to sing to them while they kicked me out of the living room and stuff, and telling me to get outside while they were trying to watch cartoons and go point out and practicing and hauling at the moon while my dog was hauling around that with me, and the girl said, come back here, it's late now. So that paid off. It really paid off, and I really enjoy it, and I'm very blessed and honored, you guys, to be here with you guys. Okay, you guys, this is my first experience, virtual. This whole thing right here is all brand new to me, and I really broke down on my brother James, and he's like, hey man, you're here for a reason. So, well, here we are. We're here to share with you guys. So,
Amen.
Exactly. Believe it, brother. Believe
We're
it.
here. We're here. Yeah, you were exactly where you are meant to be. And thank you so much for being here with us. We're so honored to have you as a storyteller, as a musician here with us at One Heart. I just thank you both so very much. Well, I guess this would be a great way to segue into our final song for the evening. See, Shannon, you're so killing. You're closing out One Heart Native Arts and Film Festival. You're a big finish, my man.
We got to finish strong, so we put you at the end.
Heck yes.
Thank you guys.
Yep.
So this final song for the 5th annual One Heart Native Arts and Film Festival is brought to you by Shannon Two Shields. This is Welcome to Hell.
All right, this little story right here is about Welcome to Hell. This is the first story that I wrote. It's due to the story that my Uncle Kelly, he came into the bar looking for me one night. My mom and dad were looking for me and didn't know how to get a hold of me. While I was being young and naive in the bar, he walks in the back door. And just the way he sounds. So I knew he was looking for me when he came in there. He says, I've been looking for you. And now that I caught up to you, you need to get your goddamn ass home. Your mom and dad have been calling me. I said, I don't want to go home, Uncle. Bullshit, you're going home right now. And I was like, well, do I lose a tooth or do I just get in the car? So I just get in the car with him. And we get to the liquor store. And he gets 2 cases of beer and 2 jugs of schnapps. And he gets down the road and we cross the bridge that's like a mile long on our reservation. And after that, there's pure darkness. And as soon as our little adventure started right there, he starts dropping his head at the wheel. And I'm asking him, Uncle, let me drive. Hell no, you get in the goddamn back if you want to drive. This is my car. And I'm like, we're hitting a ditch, Uncle. I don't care, this is my car. And it's just the way his voice was coming up on me. And the window that was broken in the back, you could hear the wind every time we hit the ditch, and we'd hear the rocks and the dirt hit the bottom of the vehicle. And I was praying that I wouldn't die, but I was feel like I was riding with death itself. And I lived 23 miles from town. And as soon as he got back, This is what he says to me. He says, now you go inside and you stay the hell home. I'll come see you tomorrow. So I go back inside, and and I'm scared, and I see him pull out, and I grab my guitar, and this is what happens. Hello, my friend. I've been looking for you. And now that I caught up to you, I came here to give your last ride to you, my friend. You see where we're going, the sunlight don't ever shine. And all these little demons riding beside me, they're gonna be your only friends. You go on home and you pack your bag and you say your prayer. 'Cause this is gonna be the last time you'll ever see daylight again, my friend. You see the fire in front of us? It burns. You hear all those screaming souls asking for God's help? Well, they're all mine. You're gonna fit right in for the sins you've done. Welcome to hell, my friend. I've been looking for you, and now that I caught up to you, I came here to give your last ride to you, my friend. You see where we're going, the sunlight don't ever shine. And all these little demons riding beside me, they're gonna be your only friend.
That was Welcome to Hell by Shannon Two Shields. Thank you so much, Shannon. Do you have anything you want to share about that particular song of yours?
Uh, that was my first song I ever wrote, and didn't even have a chord to it or anything. All I knew was I was deathly scared, and I was very happy to be home, and I was very happy that he made it home safe and sound. And I went and sang the song to him the next morning, and he told me to go back out to my place, and he met me and he says, sing that song to me again. So I said, okay, Uncle. So I said, I sang it all night, Uncle. This is how much you scared me, And he's like, and when I got done singing it to him, he says, don't you ever be singing songs about me again, just that voice of his, He put that fear in me, and like, wow, okay, Uncle, it's like, but that's what he instilled in me, and I still use his voice today to do some other songs I work on, or some narrating or whatever I do, and it's like a real a blessing for my Uncle Kelly to be in my world today, and to share that. And I know it's a touchy subject about, you know, Native Americans and alcoholic, you know, and alcohol, excuse me. And it was just, you know, I couldn't help it. It was something burning in my heart as soon as he dumped me off, and I sang it all night. So that was it. There was no like no lyric to it. I just sang it out, you know, and I kept singing it and kept singing it and kept singing it and kept singing it. And now it's just nature now for me to do it. And in this tone of voice. And you know, this guy's like 6'4", you know, and he's half Mandan and he's half Viking, you know, and he's got a roaring rage in him when you get him going, you know.
Yeah.
and his nephew has got him going a few times. So but, you know, I love the man. He's, you know, he's the closest thing to having my dad, which my dad is still here with me today, you know. And but Uncle Kelly's been a big inspiration, and along with my two sisters, Baldine and my sister Lori, that's no longer here, you know, and all 5 of my daughters, KT, Pepper, Big Baby May, Jazzy, and Baby Lori, and my little buddy Killian, you know, and all these ones that surround me with giving me this chance, you know, to because my family's been my big support, you know, to get here. You know, and to explore that story right there with you guys is like, you know, and how James put it together for me. You know, I was like, man, I don't want to watch that, man. You're kind of scaring me a little bit. You know, I was thinking, you know, it's like he's like, check it out. You know, I was like, so I did. You know, and the way James has a way to really progress my music, my songs for me, like he does for a lot of the other artists that come into Collective Influence Studios here, and the way he did those 2 videos for me, you know, I have never seen this happen to my music before, guys. So it was like just a overwhelming emotional experience, a healing experience for me to see all my trauma and all my joy that I wrote, that I mean I didn't wrote, but I just keep in my mind and my heart locked in there for a long time, and throwing it out there on you guys is like, wow. Then you know, when I first met Tony, you know, it was right here at Collective Influence Studio, and I was like that little boy hypered up to meet this guy, you know, because this guy is also, you know, he's a hip hop rapper. He's like the Native American horse jockey, you know, horse racer, you know, and all this. His uncle's Jim Boyd. So I was like, dang, man. And when he got up, man, you know, and I got my chance to share my gift and talent with him, and he had some really, really powerful, inspired words to me that I went right back up to the mountain and I started creating again, you know, and I really need to hear that. And
Just
it's very nice.
Side note on how we met. Actually, it wasn't just a meeting. Me and my girlfriend woke up. We just got in late to James's house, and we woke up to Shannon cooking breakfast for us. So it was, and then it turned into Shannon cooking breakfast for us to Shannon grabbing his guitar and giving us a kitchen concert. That was textbook who he is, and he just comes at you in the most humble way. And I don't think I've ever met a more humble person than my bro here. He's, you know, always first to gloat about others and not himself. So there's no one more deserving to finish our program like that. And you know, his music, I think, touches on exactly what is beautiful about music. Is that, I mean, what you've seen here tonight is kind of a perfect example that music is a language that can be spoken in a number of different ways. And you know, Shannon's style as an artist is exactly representative of the soul he is as a human being. You know, it's simple, but there's a beauty and a genuine kind of just medicine that you feel from it. Like I feel nothing but happiness when I hear you giggle around and I hear you, you know, sing your awesome songs, bro. So just know you are an artist, and this is a perfect place to showcase what you can do.
Yeah, amen. I think we've gathered such a wonderful and eclectic group of storytellers, and the way that you both tell stories it speaks to people on so many different levels. Not only are you, wonderful musicians, but you tell stories, and you tell your stories, and you tell vulnerable, personal stories in your music. And what I find is that the more vulnerable and personal those stories become, the more others can connect with it. You speak to something that's
Absolutely.
at the heart of you, and in a way is at the heart of everyone else. And in that way, we're connected through your storytelling. So I just want to thank you both so
Thank you
much.
too, Juliet. I mean, you fall in line with that category as well. So it's inspiring. I know for me, it's uplifting as an artist to kind of feel someone else's energy, and it helps put some wind in your own sail, seeing other people, because I think who was it? Will was saying, the work as an artist, it feels like you do work in the darkness and then you bring it to light, through performing. So these kind of things make you feel like you're not so alone as an artist, and which in turn we make music so people don't feel so alone in life, So it's a real inspiring process to be a part of.
Yeah. Well, thank you guys. And the Wanderers did send us a message, and they said, thank you for having us. And they wanted to say thank you to everyone who tuned in. And they also wanted to give a special shout out to the both of you for
Awesome.
being a part of this, and all of us sort of collaborating together on this panel and sharing our music. I feel like we made a nice big song with all of
Yeah.
our songs strung together. So
It's an interesting buffet of music.
yeah. Well, hopefully we can do it again, and hopefully we can do it in person, and we can all collaborate together on a tune. I would really love that.
That would be great. And big shout out to James Pacotis for all of the work he did with letting us in the studio and all the video editing, man. The show was killer because of many people behind the scenes at One Heart as well. So I want to give big thanks to Tom and Juan and all the guys that made this happen.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, James.
Same
Collective
here.
Influence. Thank you. Thank you, Tom. Thank you, Juan, everyone here at Vexing Media. That concludes our virtual concert. I want to thank you both so much for lending your music and lending your time to this concert. I want to thank you, our wonderful audience, for tuning in. And with that, we're going to say goodnight. Thanks so much, you guys.
All right. Thank you,
Good night,
guys.
guys.
Everyone, take care.
Thank you so much for joining us this evening. I would like to also thank tonight's sponsor, Kaufman and Associates. This year, we were fortunate to have the sponsorship support of so many wonderful organizations that share in our mission to create greater inclusivity and representation within the arts community. We provide a platform to showcase and celebrate the diversity and vitality of contemporary Native artists. We still need your support. Please consider making a donation now at oneheartfestival.org/donate. Your donation helps keep One Heart alive in the inland Northwest community. And though we may all be watching special events from home these days, One Heart looks to the future when we can all gather again. These are troubling times. One Heart stands in solidarity with Native people as we fight against wildfires ravaging our lands and the spread of COVID-19 and its ravaging of our people. One Heart stands in solidarity with the Black community and efforts for police reform and the fight against white supremacy. We must continue to elevate the voices of the marginalized and uplift the stories of the vulnerable in order to create the change we wish to see in our communities and our country. Thank you again for joining us at the 5th Annual One Heart Native Arts and Film Festival. We'll see you next year. Good night.